Can a complete beginner master origami in under 24 hours? I want to put that to the test. Origami is a skill that can take years to master, but I'm impatient, so my challenge is to learn all the skills necessary to make this expert level dragon all in under 24 hours. And if I fail, I have to destroy all the creations I've painstakingly made along the way. Starting with, it is now 9 AM. Let the challenge begin. I started off with an origami I've been wanting to make since school, the fortune teller. And to my surprise, it was so easy. It was just a bunch of basic folds one after the other, which in origami are called value folds. Once it's ready, you write down a fortune on each of the 8 sides and ask it a question. Am I gonna fail this challenge? 6. Without a doubt. I also wanted to make this frog because it can jump like an actual real frog. I felt like this was my first proper origami because I had to use some different folds and it took me a good 10 minutes to figure out.
This is an origami frog, but can it jump like a real frog?
Ah, look at that! It did a full flip. Man, I like this frog. I'm gonna call him Freddy. I spent a good 5 hours making easy origamis, and at this level, the instructions are easy to follow, and the design shouldn't really take you more than 10 minutes to figure out. 3 other great designs were the water bomb, which you have to blow into so that it inflates like a balloon, the heart, perfect for those times when you forget to buy her a birthday or anniversary present, and the sampan. This one's a bit challenging because for the last move, you have to fold the whole thing inside out, so it's quite satisfying when you finally figure it out. As much as I was enjoying myself, I was already 5 hours into the challenge, and I needed to increase the difficulty if I was going to make the expert level dragon within the 24 hours, or else. I started with the most recognized origami of them all, the crane. Now this is where things started to get interesting, because I had to learn to make more complex folds, like the petal fold and the squash folds. And I ended up with something looking like this. It is so beautiful. And all the folds are so clean. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. My next origami was pretty similar, but with one surprising difference. If you pull back on the tail, the wings should actually flap. Maybe I'll try another one. If you pull on the tail, the wings of the bird should actually flap. What the? If you pull on the tail, the wings should actually flap. Look at that! That's amazing! The moderate origamis were still not too hard, and they were a great opportunity to get familiar with the instructions, as I could learn all the symbols for the different folds and creases without having to worry too much about the execution. At this level, 2 other great designs were the seal, which for its immaculate swagger got my seal of approval, and this turtle. This was my first attempt at shaping, which is bending the paper without folding so that it keeps a certain shape, like the curved shell on this turtle. I was now 10 hours into the challenge. I was feeling good about my progress, and I was confident that I was going to make the dragon within the 24 hours. But that was all about to change. I was really drawn towards this parrot because it just looked so gorgeous. But I soon found out that the instructions were becoming building new IKEA furniture hard. Lots of folds required preliminary steps that were not shown, but luckily I found a step-by-step video which was great because it helped fill in all the blanks. I'd like to introduce you to Percy the parrot. I mean, I cannot shred this. This is too much of a masterpiece. It's so beautiful. It took me 45 minutes to make him, but he's so worth it. Look at it. The next challenge was to make this dog, and this one broke me. A big part of the complexity of this level is the small size of the folds. So when your fingers are too big and clumsy, it really helps to have something long and pointy like tweezers. I spent over an hour watching the tutorial frame by frame, but there were still some details I couldn't get, and all the folds I made were quite messy. I was 13 hours into the challenge, and this was the first origami I could not finish. I was so disappointed that I just stopped. When I finally came back, I spent a few hours making simpler designs to get some easy wins before I got back into it. However, the intermediate ones continued to be challenging, and so after each one, I'd make an easier version of that design to try and relax. And here are some of my favorite pairings. I made a shark, I made a dinosaur who seems to have picked up yoga, I made a frog, although I think Freddy won this round because he looks better and he can actually jump, and I made a whale which I'm gonna call Willy. And between Willy the whale and Percy the parrot, I don't know which one I like best. Let me know what you think down in the comments. At 2 in the morning, 17 hours into the challenge, I called it a night. It's now 20 past 6, which means I've got about 2.5 hours to make the expert level dragon, or else some soulless machine will crush all my beautiful creations. Let's do it. To avoid the problem with the small folds, which was my main issue in the intermediate designs, I got the biggest paper I could find and started folding. Messing around with the larger paper was a bit more of a handful, and I had to do some folds that I'd never done before. But it was going well, and about halfway through the tutorial, I still had about half of my time left. But for the final hour, it was all downhill, and before I knew it, the time was up. So we're past the 9 AM deadline, and this is what I've got. Not much of a dragon. To be honest, even if I had more time, I don't think I could have made it. The folds were getting too complicated. I'm pretty sure I made some mistakes, and I for sure tore the paper a few times. I know what I've got to do now, but I really don't want to do it. It may seem that I was just shredding some silly pieces of paper, but for me, they represented hours of painstaking work, and overcoming the challenges brought me so much joy. Percy and Willy are all that's left, but unfortunately, they also have to go. So, turns out you can't master origami in under 24 hours, but you can get quite far. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, and I should have something for you soon. Ciao!